Coming at you live, covering all things professional wrestling. A show by members of the Busted Open Nation. Welcome to the Nation's Corner. Here are your hosts, the Nation's Corner crew.
Yo, what's up, pro wrestling fans? Welcome to Nation's Corner. I am Front Row, joined by Debhausen, the great and powerful, Tony Justice, the greatest truck driver of all time, and Mongrovian Mike. What's up, people?
How you doing, man?
What up? What's apps?
Good. It is insane. We were just, before the show went on, we were just talking about the overload of wrestling this weekend. There was like 4 shows on last night. There's like 3 on tonight. I don't know how many. There's at least 1 or 2 on tomorrow. And that's not even all like the big stuff coming up. It's insane.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, last night, man, I had all my devices working last night. I had Christmas Vacation on my big TV. I had one of my iPads watching SmackDown, the other iPad watching y'all, and then on my phone I had TNA last night. So, yeah, I was pretty full over here.
I had Ring of Honor Final Battle on my TV. I had y'all on Zoom on my laptop here, just on like half the screen, and then the other half of the screen was TNA. I didn't even bother watch GCW last night. I caught up on that this afternoon, and that's me limiting myself.
Yeah, that's a light night. I had like SmackDown on my iPad, which then went into TNA. Switched over to TNA when SmackDown was over. I had you guys on Zoom, and then on my phone I had Metal Mayhem because I'm like, I can't miss Metal Mayhem. It's Friday.
No, you can't.
All right, so I had you guys on Zoom on my iPad. Then I had TNA on my laptop. And back here on the other screen, I had silent. I had the ROH, the Ring of Honor, and then then I was watching SmackDown on my other TV. And I was but at one point, for a spot to all our faces, that on the 3 different screens with all women kicking ass. Like it was why I said I can't believe it. At this one time, it was like Mercedes and Red Velvet, and then over here it's these ones kicking ass, and over there it's these ones. It was just like it was totally cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
what'd you watch last night? Nothing. Okay, hey, never mind.
Speaking of women kicking ass, huge congratulations to all the women that were invited to and participated in Bailey's Lodestone camp this week. What an amazing experience. We had the opportunity to talk to a few of those folks last week, but some of our very favorite people in wrestling got invites to go do this. And Bailey did it free of charge. She put on the whole seminar. I don't know. I think it was 3 days, 4 days. I forget how many days it was, but I kept seeing videos and stuff. I know Izzy was there, Gabby Forza was there, Danny Moe was there. Like a lot of our favorite people got a chance to do this. And I saw Izzy had posted Janai Kai, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Who else? Nikki Blackheart. There's a bunch more. I think there's like 10 women, maybe.
Congratulations, all the whether we've seen
everyone.
Them, like half of them we've seen as somewhere along the way of their career, and
I think awesome. For me specifically, Gabby Forza, Izzy, and Danny Moe are people that I've been following closely in their journey the past few years or so. And to see those 3 is just.
Can we toot our own horn and say that I believe Gabby Forza was her first pro wrestling interview.
Yes.
If you want to,
yes, you are right. I remember that.
So it was our first, and also congratulations to her husband and one half of the Savage Gnomes, and Bear Bronson just has been killing it this year, and 2026 is like the rocket. He put the rocket on his own fucking back. That's
he did. He really did. Yeah, this year has been an amazing year for the Savage Gnomes. I was watching last night the countdown show to the TNA pay-per-view, and C.W. Anderson and Brock Anderson come out, and then right behind them, Bear comes out, and I'm sorry if I blew out you guys' eardrums because I screamed. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I screamed.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Everybody's like, what the fuck is happening?
Oh,
It's just insane. It's just insane. And what about an extra special shout out to Becky Lynch for and busted the heat between Becky Lynch and everybody on Pro Wrestling 24/7 is really getting to a boil.
Yeah.
Look, we have to go into that in depth in a minute because I really want to get your perspective on that because a lot happened this week. It seemed like every time I opened up my Twitter or social media, someone was saying something. So we got to talk about that. But I did just really quick. I don't want to take up a ton of your time, but John and I got a chance to go to WrestleCade last weekend. A ton of stories. You guys heard all the stories, but I'll share with the folks here. We went on Friday. John and I went and to the Tony Schiavone panel.
Crew on location.
Yes. Yeah. So we saw. Let me see if I have this right. Yeah. So John and I saw Tony Schiavone.
yeah.
Did a awesome hour and a half panel, and he was just completely unfiltered, super cool. That was a lot of fun. And then we went to the Fourth Rope show on Friday night. And Andre, the producing giant, the insane person that he is, texted me Friday morning. He's like, I think I'm going to come to WrestleCade. So he literally got in his car and drove a Miata for 11 hours or some shit, just all the way through to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Drove through a snowstorm. He arrives at 1 o'clock in the morning. And of course, we had to get pizza and drink a lot, which we did do.
He's insane. There's a reason why Coach calls him the wrestling degenerate. He's just insane.
Yeah. So here's a quick picture of the group.
Oh,
Me and John and Cody and then Andre, obviously. We get a chance to meet a ton. We caught up with a lot of people on Saturday, and we didn't take a lot of pictures. It's just really just catching up with friends. We did talk to Luke Hawx at length about a lot of the stuff that he's doing in Hollywood. The possibility of there being a heel season 3 doesn't look like it, but he said, you never know. So, we get a chance to talk to the Renegade Twins and Nick Nemeth. We talked to Nick for a while. Nick was actually, let me see if I have the picture of Nick. Is it? Yeah. So I got a picture of Nick on the Super Show.
Yes.
A wanted man.
Yes.
He was awesome. I said to Nick, there's a ton of people downstairs for Sting's autograph. He's like, that makes me feel great. Thanks. But he was really cool. So yeah, we get a chance to see a lot of people.
Nick. We'll be on the cruise with Nick and Dave and Bully next year. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, he's really cool. He was very engaging. Of course, we had Andre with us because Andre produces the show, so made the conversation a little easier. But one of the cool things that we did get to see, we're all fans of Joey Janela, and Joey Janela did an open challenge at the Super Show. And who showed up out of retirement but Jushin Thunder Liger? It was insane. It was so cool because I got a chance to see the only time I've ever seen Liger-san was when he did his retirement tour. We got to meet him and take pictures and stuff. That was years ago, 3-4 years ago, whatever it was at this point. It was a while ago. And he came out of retirement. So it was pretty neat. And of course, one of the highlights of the night was JBL coming out. So cool. He was awesome. And then
didn't you have a VIP meet and greet with Jushin Thunder Liger?
Yeah. Yeah, not this weekend, but during his retirement tour, I did. Yeah.
Oh no, I thought this weekend you did.
No, that one. Yeah. Okay. So yes. So thank you for reminding me. It's not embarrassing at all. Okay.
I didn't want. No, it's not. It's not. I didn't want to throw it out there. I just wanted to pop you. If you want to tell the story, it's a funny one.
So I go into the restroom.
I see where this is going.
And I go and I stand, do my thing, and in walks Jushin Thunder Liger from the convention floor in full gimmick, headdress, everything. Stands there, does this thing. He looks at me, nods, and away goes. So that was my VIP meet and greet.
Nice.
That's a clip that
Oh my god, that is
Nice.
that is nearly as good as Steve's MJF bathroom story.
Yeah, Steve is
Fair enough. I'll take second
Nearly
place
as
to
good.
that story.
Well, yeah.
We did also get to see Zilla Fatu, who is just awesome. He performed several times this weekend, coming out with the ones up and everybody doing the OTC chant. That was super cool. And then on Sunday, we stayed for the Ladies Night Out show, which had 15 matches on the card. It was a long
Wow.
show.
Wow.
But we stayed because
Did
we had
Tony Khan
promised.
put that one on?
You would thought so. No, they were much shorter matches. And we did get a chance to spend some time with Izzy this weekend.
Nice.
Always love supporting Izzy, and I got my new bracelet, my Pride bracelet she made for me.
Yay.
So yeah, she lost in a fatal 4-way, but it's okay. Because then 2 days later, she was training with Bailey and Charlotte,
Yeah.
and Ivy Nile,
well,
and
you know.
all these people. So we're not so sad. It's cool,
Yeah.
but it was a fun weekend. I recommend anybody who's a fan to go to this thing because it's just nonstop fun. Like, and they added so many panels this year. It was like, I think the first panel was at noon on Friday, and the last show was at 6 p.m. on Sunday. So it's literally for a few $100, you get a whole weekend of stuff, minus the meet and greets and stuff. And there's a lot of good restaurants. So we had a blast. It was cool. I'd recommend anybody who's into wrestling to go check it out. If you like WrestleCons
awesome.
and stuff like that, it's a lot of fun. But I did want to mention, like you said, Mike, we have been following this Becky Lynch thing for a while because, like, I remember Sam had said something on his show, and I think it kicked off with her. Did she respond to Busted Open first or Sam first? But it started that
Sam.
She ragged on Sam first, but it was a Friday, so Dave responded to Sam.
That's right.
Kind of came on the show.
That's right. Sam jumped on Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
That's our
it was
Friday
on
morning.
Friday.
Yeah. And then, but it didn't stop, guys. Like, it's been going back and forth now for an entire week. And I think even earlier last night she posted something.
Last
I think
night,
something
yeah.
today. And Megan Morant can just stop fueling this fire. Like, I don't know whose side she's on, but I did see Big Boss Man Eddie Brasili did say, "I stand by their talent," and Busted Open. We stand by the Busted Open and Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 talent. So that was good because I don't think everybody on the channel was in the same feelings about it. But it's incredible. It's amazing to see someone with her at her status, like, having fun with these guys. It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the funny thing for me is I think oftentimes, like, Becky has always been really good at the whole social media game. And I think sometimes, like, they're able to do these things on social media that they wouldn't necessarily be able to do on the TV show. Like, I think it gives them a little bit kind of more freedom as far as the character work and stuff like that, that they can have fun and have these interactions on social media that they might not either be able to or have time to kind of get into this type of stuff on the show. So for me, that's the coolest thing, and it engages the fans.
Right. And it's funny, it's from Becky Lynch that's doing it, because it was Becky Lynch that was doing it in her feud with Ronda Rousey, and we were commenting, and it was talked about all over the shows about how they took it one step further on social media, where it was stuff that was being said on social media, and they were even referring to it on WWE television. So, I mean, yeah, it's a good point, Deb. I mean, it's just another way for storylines to be carried out on social media that you can't do on TV. Yes, perfect point.
Right. But like Dave said yesterday, like, it started off kind of fun, like a little back and forth. And then it's like, then she kind of took it too far. And Dave was like, all right, I'm just going to stop responding now.
She's broken.
She's broken. Yes, she's broken. We got the great Becky crash out of 2025. This week is ending up being the week of crash outs. We got the Becky crash out last night. We'll get to it later, but last night we got the beginning of the Mercedes crash out, and Effie started to crash out too.
and Jey Uso. So like everybody's like, everyone's snapping. Everyone is reaching the end of their ropes, and
Big Cody.
Zaruka.
Cody, yeah.
Cody snapped on Drew
Cody
McIntyre last night.
and everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Looking like the off season is getting to become, the season is starting. The new season is starting.
Yeah, it's getting to the point now. It's too with the Becky stuff, because she very specifically chose people that can do a back and forth with her, like Rosenberg and Sam, obviously, in the Busted Open team, and she's very carefully talking about the hosts and not the wrestlers, and it's been very interesting. And we all know who she's emulating when she's tweeting, and it's just really, really well done. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
it is.
Front row, you weren't on the show, but I made the point that whether you're a fan of him, whether you hate him or love him, or in between, what she's doing is so freaking funny. It's perfect. It's
brilliant.
It's exactly. It's just great. And it's perfect too, because the perfect person to get is Dave. So.
And the last thing I'll add to that too is Sam is a WWE personality. Like, he does a lot of content with them. So it's not a big stretch for them to bring this to TV or bring this to social media and tie in all of the 24/7 channel stuff. Like, I think we're like a week. I don't know, man. I think she's going to appear somewhere on a podcast this week talking about it, whether it's on the Raw recap, or she's going to do something. She's going to do something. This isn't ending here, I don't think.
No, for sure.
Okay, so we have a ton of stuff.
I predicted the Fish Bowl, so
that would be awesome.
Fish Bowl didn't come up in December, so. But anyway,
I'd love that for you.
No, I wouldn't be going there.
No,
it's my son's birthday.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay. Shit. Okay.
It's in the 18th, so I'm not even trying for it. But
okay, I just have to address this. Stan was on vacation. He specifically said he was not suspended.
He's on vacation. Yeah.
Well, and I'm going to take a stance.
Vacation. He even came off of vacation to jump on Friday.
Yeah. And I'm going to take a stance. I stand behind Sam and Dave. Even though I did make a little shirt idea for Sam last night and posted it on Twitter. But it's just giving Sam, putting money in his pocket because he's got a shirt he could sell. So there you go, Sam. I mean, I love you, brother. But yeah, I stand fully behind Sam and Dave on this.
Same.
Yeah.
And anybody else she slanders. Peter Rosenberg, Stack Guy Greg, I don't know, anybody, right?
Well, I mean, Peter Rosenberg, I mean, there's people we hang out with that slander Peter Rosenberg every 5 seconds, so it's okay with him.
Yeah.
But
people on the channel
unjustified. It's unjustified. He didn't do anything that
Sports Illustrated is doing it. So
it's
yeah.
Okay. So okay. Right.
Okay. All right, Leo.
So this Cena thing has been insane because he's been everywhere in the news. He's been everywhere in the media. He's got these big appearances coming up. They're releasing the full interview that they've been teasing. I think on Monday after Raw, they're going to air that. Chris Van Vliet has an interview coming up. I think he was just on Rogan's. He's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Sam and Megan still have the last Jorts interview, but we'll wait and see what happens. We're not there yet. Last night, Gunther did solidify his position as the opponent for Cena's last match. I think we all kind of, when we saw the names, especially as the couple of surprises rolled out, we kind of knew where it was headed. And that's not a bad thing. I think I look at that and I go, this is exactly how this should have played out. Sometimes what's predictable, like we say, is what should happen. And I think that's what should happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think kind of for a while now, everybody's been saying is going to be Gunther. It just kind of seemed like the way that they laid things out, it seemed like the logical place to go. So I'm excited about it. I'm kind of confused as to why all of a sudden a lot of people are disappointed and don't like that it's Gunther. I'm not quite sure where that came from, but because that's what we've all been saying for a while is what we saw happening. So, but I'm excited. I'm gonna watch, and it's gonna be fun.
And we got a great match. We got a great match out of it. It wasn't like that we. I mean, you can't ask for more, even when it's almost super predictable to you, if you think it is. But
yeah,
right.
Hey, can we just for a second? Can we call out our good friend Andre and his bullshit booking ideas?
What brand of tinfoil is he using these days?
I don't know. I think it's cellophane.
Yeah, it's not Reynolds wrap.
It's not. It's not named. It's
yeah.
brand. It's great.
It's
value.
Sam's choice. Sam's choice. I guess.
I haven't asked him. Maybe.
Yeah. No, but
Poor Andre.
to Deb's point, the fans that are upset all of a sudden, like where did they come from? That Gunther is facing John Cena. I call those the "give me what I want" fans, because they're upset that they didn't.
This is what we wanted.
It's what we wanted, but
Deb's
the fans
that this is what they were asking for months, and now all of a sudden it's here, and they're like, "Oh, but we didn't want that." No, you said the last 2 months you said this is the guy.
Fickle
It's
fans.
It's there for LA. It's
Brian.
there for LA Knight, because LA Knight we all agree that he's better as a heel, don't we?
Yeah.
So he's gone as far as he can as a face. When is he going to start calling the people dummies? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still that in his back pocket, which was pretty entertaining. And like Front Row, you were talking, we were talking about that, about how in NWA it was so entertaining, but now he's held back. But it's also because he's a face,
Well, clearly they have a lot of faith in him, because they wouldn't put him in this far along in the tournament without having a lot of plans for him. You don't put this guy in the finals of Cena's. I mean, his name's been attached to John Cena's tournament for weeks and weeks now. Like, it's a huge deal. Whether you win or lose, just being in the tournament's a big deal.
Yeah. Right. We got it.
So, okay. So I'm excited for that. And so that John Cena match, John Cena's final match, is next weekend at Saturday Night's Main Event. What was super cool to me, and we'll talk about this briefly, is the match that's coming up tonight with Ricky Saints versus Obafemi. Ricky Saints is defending his NWA, his NXT championship. He was never NWA champ. But so he's defending his title tonight, and Cody Rhodes announced last night as on SmackDown with Ricky and Oba that the winner of that match would face Cody. They didn't say whether it was a title match or not, but they would face Cody at Saturday Night's Main Event. So the winner of tonight's match gets to be on a card with Cena's last match. That alone is a big deal. Never mind facing Cody. So whoever wins, it's cool for us, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. One point I wanted to make about Gunther before we go on. Last night he cut a backstage promo with Kathy Kelly, and he made a couple of points. I mean, first of all, Gunther is always a good promo, but last night specifically, he had this air about him. The way he was talking and the things he said when he was talking to John Cena, he says, "John, I want you to pay attention on when I beat LA Knight, and not only when I beat him, how I beat him." And then that was a fast forward to what he did to LA Knight and how he won that match. He had that submission on him and made him tap. And I mean, the way he did that, just basically, it's a defining his promo, and he followed through with it. I mean, even though we all knew he was going to win anyway, but it was.
Wow.
And Gunther is he's in a high class, man. I mean, he doesn't need a championship. He's just a menacing figure in the ring. I mean, he's just credible. And I'm glad it's Gunther facing John Cena. And then of course we can all speculate all week long on what happens after the match with John Cena. Does Brock Lesnar come back into play with this? And do we get a story with Gunther and Brock Lesnar going forward? Who knows? So it'll be interesting.
I know we're going to talk more about it next week, because obviously our show will be before Saturday Night's Main Event. So, but the other match that was announced last night, which was really cool, I thought it was super cool to see Bayley with the Lodestone shirt, as we mentioned, on SmackDown, and Sol Ruca showed up, and they're going to be having a match at Saturday Night's Main Event. Big deal for Sol Ruca. That's really, really cool. But tonight I'm just going to run through the matches quick, because I know we have a ton of other stuff to cover. We talked about the title match. Ethan Page versus Mr. Iguana. They've been this mixed tag stuff that they've been doing with AAA has been super entertaining. I think it's been really fun. Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame, obviously Tatum Paxley was kicked out of the culling, and how that's all going to play out. She's been doing a fantastic job character wise. And I did want to ask you guys about the 2 Iron Survivor matches. So we have on the men's side Javon Evans, Leon Slater, Joe Hendry, Dion Lennox, and Miles Bourne. I don't see a clear-cut winner here. Like, I love Joe Hendry, but it doesn't really make sense because the winner of these 2 matches go on to face to get a title opportunity. So I don't know with these 5 people on the men's side who you're looking at.
And last night and on NXT the stipulation was whichever one of the guys gets the pin, they pick where they start in the match or whatever. So and Miles Bourne tagged himself in. So there's a thing between him and Javon there, or Leon. That they were like, what happened, you know? But anyway, yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Well, Javon Evans and Leon Slater have been magic on screen together. They're both so spectacular in the ring. It's going to be interesting to see how that match dynamic works out.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to highlight this comment here about, getting people called up. Seth and I was talking about this the other day. I think like the roster for the main roster is so stacked with the top level talent that it's kind of tough because NXT is designed to be that revolving door to get people ready for, the main roster and to become those big stars. But like we, talked about, was that earlier this year or last year with Roxanne Perez? Like, you can't move people up if there's not a spot for them and a clear plan. Like, I don't want to see people move up to the main roster if there's not something specific for them to do and for them to be a part of. So it's kind of tough because yes, there is a few people in NXT that are absolutely ready for the next phase. But yeah, it's gotta be purposeful. What's up, Dirty? Yeah, it's gotta be purposeful, and and I think to an extent, that is what they're using TNA for.
I just want to say I
for a lot of
Marina
talent,
Shafir.
get extra time.
I'm not
Who you interrupt?
Marina Shafir.
No, I mean, I agree. I think that anytime that there's discussions about someone being called up, if there's not a story for them or something to do, like I thought Roxanne's was perfect because she had feuds in both programs and it was sort of a gentle transition. It all made sense. So she moved into an existing story. I thought that was really well done. Over on the women's side, we have Sol Ruka versus Lola Vice and Kalani Jordan, Jordan Grace, and Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray has become a standout, like a massive standout in NXT and Evolve, which is super cool. Sol's got a big match coming up, so I don't necessarily know about her. There's some TNA crossover for both of these matches as well, so it's going to be interesting to see with the new TV deal, which we'll talk about in a moment, if those stars get highlighted and then that stuff gets carried over to TNA television in January.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's Saturday night's main event. I mean, it's going to be fun tonight. It's a 2-hour show, right? So not tonight. I'm sorry. Next week. Tonight is Deadline. So tonight's going to be super fun to see how this. There's so much stuff going on.
There's so much.
Yeah, get it straight.
There is so much.
It's a lot.
It's Saturday, right?
Okay. It is Saturday.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And I've heard that it's all right for fighting.
It's
It
never
is.
okay. Violence is never the answer, Tony.
But it's Saturday.
All right.
Yeah,
fine.
In fact,
but
it's not only it's not only Saturday. It's Saturday. Saturday. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Saturday.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we still have like 10 things to talk about. So let's talk about the TNA deal is interesting. I don't know that there's enough to talk about there. We know it's happening on January 15th, I believe.
Yes.
It's really cool. I think I wanted to get your thoughts on Frankie Kazarian like sort of leading the charge after being the guy who's been like such a driving force and a tent pole for that organization for decades now. Like I think it's really, really cool that he's going to be in the forefront moving into this big TV deal.
Yes.
So we saw him at WrestleCade, by the way. He was awesome. He was amazing.
You know,
Awesome.
one key thing about TNA, about the announcement, Thursday night on TNA, they showed, or was it Thursday night or was it last night before the pay-per-view? They showed that promo, that vignette.
Well, they showed it both days.
Okay, well, it was awesome. Well done, the way they did that. And it showed Frankie and EY kind of standing to the back because they are the OGs. And then you see in Leon Slater and all these new, carrying this, what was it, a briefcase or whatever, and it was glowing like it was something in it. And then they put it down and they opened it up and it was the AMC logo and all the, the hoopla with the announcement. But, Frankie Kazarian, the OG that he is, he's been, TNA since day one. And, when Mike Santana had the championship and then Frankie ended up with it, when we've had this discussion before, I couldn't be mad. Yes, we're pissed that Mike Santana is getting treated the way he's getting treated, but I couldn't be mad at Frankie having the title because Frankie deserves it. He's earned it. And he's doing such great things with it. I mean, he's everywhere with that title. I see him all over social media with it. Front Row just mentioned Russell Cade. His presence is there, and the title fits with him, and I can't believe, and I told Deb this the other day, I can't believe that we're just talking about Frankie Kazarian becoming a world champion for the first time. He's been great this whole time he's been wrestling, involved with SG. He was so, when he was in SCU, I loved, his where he would be doing, do ya? Just he's so funny, and of course he's a Metallica fan like all of us are, so that's even better, So I mean, yeah, but I feel like it's building up to, in the first episode of TNA on AMC, I feel like it's building up to a title match with Mike Santana, and whatever happens with that remains to be seen. But I am happy that Frankie's got the world championship.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was, I agree with you. We had talked about this before, that yes, Frankie has more than earned the world title, and the disappointment amongst fans was never about him,
right?
It was the disappointment about Santana and the feeling that the opportunity kind of like slipped by. Now with the announcement of the AMC deal, I'm trying my best to kind of remain hopeful for what's to come, and hoping that they have a plan, and I'm trying to be optimistic about it. If like you said, that on the first episode in January, we get a title match between Kazarian and Santana. If Santana wins that night, that'll be a cool moment. It'll be great. I'm sure there'll be a lot of new eyes on the show that night. But at the same time, and I mentioned this on Zoom last night when we were talking about it, at the same time, I still just have this feeling like it just should have happened at Slammiversary. And, if they have a long-term plan, so be it. But like, I just still have this nagging feeling that would have been better.
I also think there's a part of that too, where with this TV deal, obviously they've known about it long before we did, right? So
Right,
if you're
obviously.
booking around that TV deal and you're saying, okay, well, we would like to tell the story of Mike Santana rising, I would have a lot of focus, and you have to catch up an entirely new audience to this story. You have to bring everybody up to speed. So it's not going to happen that first night. That first night is an introduction to who everybody is. We're going to do vignettes. We're going to tell you what all the stories are. And then we're starting from day zero with this big new audience. and then you can tell that story over the next several months or however long it takes for Santana to regain that title. I wouldn't do it quickly.
Yeah. Or if they have another pay-per-view in the New York area at some point next year, maybe against Slammiversary, maybe, one of their other pay-per-views throughout the year, maybe then have more of a longer build towards him actually getting it in his hometown crowd. Because I think that was the moment. Like, it was the hometown crowd. It was seeing, the New York and Puerto Rican fan base like fully behind him. Like, he was the guy. And so I just feel like, when the eventual time comes for him to reclaim it back from Kazarian, I think if it's not done in a hometown crowd, it's just not going to be the same. Like, it just won't be.
But maybe by the time it happens again, it will be with a hometown crowd again on this. Or the pay-per-view can come back. We're so popular, they might do it again. Slammiversary might be again in the same place. Who knows?
Yeah, if they're back in New York, I'm sure they'll be back in New York at some point next year. For a bigger show. So that would be perfect.
If the story is good enough, then every town is a hometown. If everybody's behind him, then it should work no matter what market they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think
and that's what I was going to say. I was going to say
with him.
Get out of my head, front row. Yeah, I was going to say that. Why does it have to be a hometown? It's if like just what front row said, if the story is so captivating that it's got everybody invested like we were last year for the hometown, it will work in, I'll steal Bully's Town, Sheboygan. It'll work there. It'll work, in El Paso, Texas. It'll work in California, So, I'm just,
hey,
we'll see what happens.
We were like, well, Cody in 39. We were like, why? And then it didn't happen. And, and Bully was
that's exactly why I'm just trying to remain optimistic.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I mean, it's a huge deal. It's a big deal for the whole industry. Every time someone gets a TV deal, the rising tide raises all ships thing, right? So WWE gets big contracts, AEW gets big contracts. All the big companies are on TV, and there's lots of places for people to work too, which is great. So you guys know I don't get a chance to watch AEW as much as I would like to, but we need to have a conversation about the amazing story that is Mercedes Moné right now. Because, and I know you guys have been talking about this for weeks. I haven't been on every show, but I've been talking about it, on Zoom at night, and we've all been hoping and praying that this storyline with her being the belt collector was going to end in some like awful character spiral. And boy, I think we're seeing the beginnings of it. So Deb, I want you got to kick this one off.
Yeah, so Ring of Honor Final Battle was last night. If anyone didn't get a chance to see it, I highly recommend. It was a really, really great show. All the matches were great, but there was a lot of connective storyline. Mox came on commentary during the match that the Death Riders were included in on the kickoff show, on the countdown show, and then he just stayed on commentary the rest of the time. So it was really, really awesome to see him on commentary for that. But yeah, the Mercedes and Red Velvet was very interesting. We've seen, and we talk about it pretty much every week. We've seen the progression of her slowly accumulating all these titles. Is she up to 13 or 14? I think 13.
13, I believe.
Yeah.
Now
we've seen her slowly accumulate. Obviously, the big ones that she has is the TBS Championship, the CMLL Championship, and then she had obviously the ROH TV Championship that she was the interim, and then fought Red Velvet for to fully become the official champion. I think she also has Rev Pro, right? And then the rest are just indies from around the world. So yeah, I was very interested to see what would happen with her last night in the rematch against Red Velvet. and it was a complete shock to me. I had a small feeling that it would happen, just because, you know, we can kind of see with a lot of storylines, we can kind of see where things might be going. But when Red Velvet won, I was really shocked. And it was definitely the beginning of the meltdown. Mercedes' face right away, like she was in disbelief, but also like angry, shocked, like rage, like all of it, all of it. And then later on in the show, they showed a backstage segment with her, and she actually like dropped an F-bomb. Layla Gray came up to her backstage and basically said, like, I just want to let you know that, you know, you may have lost, but you're still a baddie. And Mercedes pretty much said, get the fuck out of my face. And Layla basically said, all right, if you're going to be like that, I challenge you tomorrow on Collision for the TBS championship. So we get a graphic tonight on Collision, Mercedes versus Layla Gray for the TBS championship. And I saw earlier today on Twitter, like pretty much like very, very similar to the Becky Lynch type of thing, is if you look at Mercedes tweets, she's in full meltdown. All caps.
Yeah. But don't we think that like this really started when she lost her opportunity, when she lost to Statlander?
Yes.
I think that's when it started.
Yes.
Yeah, and we had talked about that. Was it a couple weeks ago? We had talked about that. That her match with Statlander had massive implications, because, you know, like John has been saying it for months, and I'll always give John credit for this. That he's been the one saying this for months. Like, y'all can be mad about all these other titles that she has, but the storyline is she can have all these other titles from around the world, but she can't get her hands on the one that's the most important, the one that means the most. Yeah. And she lost to Statlander, and that was kind of the beginning of the downfall, so to speak. Even though she didn't lose a title, she lost her chance for the main title, the one she really wants. And now she actually lost one of her titles. So we'll see where it progresses tonight on Collision in an hour and 15 minutes. We'll see what happens in her match for the TBS championship. And I'm in, like, I'm fully in for this.
Well, and one thing we're not talking about, and it's very sad, she lost one of her titles, right? So that also means that one of the young boys that was carrying a title, he's out of a job too.
No, because each of the belt boys had two.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, then my joke doesn't work here.
She had two titles, one on her waist, one on her shoulder, and then each of the belt boys had two titles.
Okay. So he still has a job.
Now, unfortunately, one of the belt boys just has a bare shoulder, you know.
Okay, well.
Tony's right, though. Sooner or later, though, there's going to be budget cuts.
Yeah, and it's right around the holidays. It's right around the holidays, too. You got to think about them. I mean, they got families, you know? So anyway.
Yeah. Well, she's like any other corporate CEO.
You know what?
Yeah.
John isn't here, but GFY. Miss you, John.
He's all dressed up today.
Yeah, he is. He's looking kind of snazzy tonight.
Dapper.
Yeah, so earlier today, Mercedes tweeted, "I just woke up from a bad dream." Before that, she quote tweeted Rio, not Riho, Rio. And Rio had tweeted, "The downfall has begun," and Mercedes quote tweeted and said, all caps, "Shut up." So yeah, the meltdown has commenced.
Yep.
Oh my.
It's going to be great.
You know, I'd like to make a point about, since we were talking about John a while ago, John from South Jersey. We were watching Dynamite Wednesday night, and the main event was Claudio Castagnoli versus Mox in that tournament.
Match.
Yes, it was.
Incredible.
And that's another thing we need to talk about too. Talk about downfalls. Mox and in his leadership role in the Death Riders. And we saw both going head to head, Claudio and Mox. And so normally when we're watching matches like that where it's a time limit match, right? Normally when you start hearing the timekeeper announce the time, 10 minutes remaining in the match, 10 minutes. I've been watching wrestling a long time to know that when they start doing that, there's a chance for a draw. There's a chance for it to go to the end, and it's a draw. And I made that comment on Zoom. John, in his booking perfection, he goes, no, I see it going to the 5-minute mark. As soon as they announce the 5-minute, we're going to see a winner. And okay, and he says it, and I'm like, all right, that's good. That's a good idea. They announced it. 5 minutes remaining in the match, and they didn't even get it out of their mouth. Claudio comes in with a finishing move on Mox and pins him 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, holy crap, John! It's like, and he was like, where's my money? Pay me! I was like, holy crap! He was on the money with that. I was like, I couldn't believe it. Crazy.
So just real quick, one thing about Mercedes, it's funny you mentioned her not being able to get a hold of that title. You know who else has held that title before Mercedes? Tony Justice.
Nah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
You pulled that one out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was cool.
the whole Mox situation is very interesting. And, I just have to say this, this is my little passive aggressiveness as an AEW fan. Everybody always wants to say that AEW moves too fast, blah, blah, blah. This Mox storyline and this Mercedes storyline, both of them has been incredibly slow burns to the point where people were saying, move faster, move faster, move faster.
Yeah.
No, they took their time with it. They held on to the plan. And now we are really starting to see the payoff in both stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Exhibit A, fickle.
Mm-hmm. He's fickle anyway, so.
But it's definitely one of those things.
Go fickle
It is
yourself.
definitely one of those things where, like, people complain about AEW being like they don't pay anything off, and then when they give you a long-term story, like, well, we don't want that's too long, like you just said. But I do think that they did such a good job of not only giving you a long-term story that actually paid off, but in the middle of those stories, they developed different characters and B stories. We say it all the time. The Marina Shafir, evolution has been probably one of the best things that's come out of that storyline, and I still want her to take over as the faction leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think
I think a lot of people do.
The Bloodline storyline, I think, is now the benchmark for what is a really, really well done long-term storyline. Everybody, most people, not everybody, most people kind of agree that the Bloodline was the best storyline in wrestling history. I think that. I agree. It's what really mainly got me into WWE for really, really got me to pay attention to WWE for the first time. And so now that's the benchmark. And the Bloodline storyline showed us that if you give people a long-term storyline with details that makes people pay attention, that it pays off in the end. How many times every single week we came on this show talking about the latest details in the Bloodline storyline, and sometimes we didn't know where things going. Sometimes we were like, all right, nothing much happened in the last couple weeks, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's a major plot line that happened. And to me, with the Mox story and the Mercedes story, to me, I feel like it's very similar. There are so many details and little wrinkles like that, if you're a fan that may be only casually paying attention, you may not notice those details. And that's all right. Not everybody has time to watch every show, or like I do with some shows, I just keep up to date on social media. But if you miss those details, you're really missing what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely this mock story is showing that the whole Death Riders, everything that's happening on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because like the Bloodline was a long-term storyline that was punctuated by chapters. Every chapter was 1 or 2 or 3 episodes. You would get chunks of stuff, and then it would be on to something else. Not Daniel Bryan. Sami Zayn had this incredible arc. Nobody ever thought he'd be in that position. He was out. Everybody that was within the sphere of that was elevated. And I think the same to a certain extent is true about the Death Riders. They had chapters along the way. Mox's promos could have been a little bit more cohesive. Maybe it would have given people a little bit more to latch onto, because sometimes it was a little wonky,
Right.
but the
I
story
think it
was
took a
very
while
consistent.
to really kind of figure out what the whole picture was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a little Ultimate Warrior-ish.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I also want to mention about Final Battle last night. We were talking, Tony, you had brought up on Dynamite how John predicted the 5-minute clock ending. Last night on Final Battle, there was the 30-minute Iron Man match with Nigel McGuinness and Lee Moriarty. And that, like, they posted the clip on Twitter. If you didn't see it, go look. The ending of that Iron Man match was timed perfectly with the countdown. Like, the ref was counting 1, 2, 3 as the countdown was counting down 3, 2, 1. It was exact. It was so well done. So I highly recommend just checking out that clip at least. Really, really good match. It's cool to see Nigel in the ring. I wasn't around for his, prior career, but it's cool to be able to see him every now and then now. So yeah, that was another thing I wanted to point about Ring of Honor. And we saw the Ring of Honor debut of Ace Austin last night on the Countdown show. So I was super happy about that. That was awesome.
We heard.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so Nigel's feud with Bryan Danielson was pretty iconic. I do want to recommend to anybody that gets a chance. I know there's a ton of like Cena stuff going on this week, but CVV did a Bryan Danielson interview this week, and it is absolutely brilliant. And he talks about Nigel McGuinness, and he talks about transferring his skill set to commentary and that whole process. It's really, so just real quick, like when we were at WrestleCade, we did the Tony Schiavone panel, and someone asked Tony, who do you think is the best wrestler of all time? Which is, it's a big statement, right? And he immediately goes, Bryan Danielson.
Wow.
And the guy said, you mean out of all the people you've worked with, and you've worked with everybody? He said, nope. He said he has the best mind and is the most adaptive, most intuitive person I've ever seen in the ring, and he can do anything in the wrestling business. He's the best of all time. Like, wow.
I absolutely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I remember the match he had with, I think, Kenny Omega, which I think they had posted that match on YouTube recently. But I remember watching that match and specifically just watching his footwork and just being amazed. Like, and I've always loved Daniel Bryan, but I think his AEW run really put him on another level. And then even more so on commentary now, he's getting to show just his top level knowledge. It's just insane.
Well, that's one of the things he said, because he's like, it's not like one's better than the other. He said it's a culmination of an entire career. Towards the end of this full-time run, he said, I was able to build on stuff from Dragon's Gate and Ring of Honor and his time in the UK. And he listed all these different phases of his career that built the guy that we saw at the end of his run. Like, we saw this complete wrestler that can just do anything. And he's like, I can't do that stuff anymore, but is I will consider this like my best run because it was the most knowledgeable I've been able to do and the most intuitive. So it was
Yeah,
interesting.
that's true.
Listen to that interview or watch it. It's fantastic.
It's very good. And so one more point quick. Not only is he really good on commentary, but I remember thinking it last night on ROH, Mox is really good on commentary. I know on Dynamite he often comes on commentary when any one of the other Death Riders are having a match. But last night, because he was at the commentary table for a longer period of time than just one match, like I had seen someone on Blue Sky post last night. It's like sometimes when he's on commentary, he forgets that he's supposed to be a heel and he just goes into like this, I fucking love everything about wrestling mode. He's putting everyone over. He's pulling these facts from like something that happened in Japan in like 1987. It's just, it's ridiculous to listen to him. So yeah, I definitely like I know some of us sometimes tune out commentary. I know sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm watching and I end up not really paying attention to what they're saying on commentary. But when he's
Booker
there,
T.
pay attention.
Gesundheit.
Oh.
So yeah, when he's on commentary, pay attention because he says some gems and he's low key hilarious too.
Yeah. I unfortunately I don't get to listen to commentary too much because I've got my volume so way down, so I don't bleed over on Zoom with you guys, so I don't get to hear the commentary sometimes. Anyway,
Headphones, dude.
Yeah.
I don't.
While we're putting over people that aren't actually a talent in the ring wrestling, Bobby Cruz was dressed to the nines last night in his.
So is Ian Riccaboni.
And Ian Riccaboni always kicks ass.
Yes. My hometown
For sure.
guy.
There we go.
Yep.
Anything else you guys want to cover before we go watch NXT?
I think we're
don't know if
good.
there was anything else. I think we're good.
Think we're good.
Cool.
We're good.
It was a crazy week. This week's going to be awesome. There's all kinds of cool stuff going on. Obviously, Saturday night's main event next weekend. I'm sure there's 3 pay-per-views I'm missing, but
Tonight we got NXT Collision and a GCW show later on.
yeah, it's a
Later on.
light viewing evening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and Metal Mayhem. Metal Mayhem. Can't
And
forget
Metal
that.
Mayhem. Can't forget
Of course,
that. Yeah.
of course. Very good. All right, Tony, take us out.
Well, are we going to do our outros? Well, you can find me at Tony Justice AJFA. And if you're a Metallica fan, like I know all of us are, you know what that means? Ooh!
Thanks.
And
Deb?
you can find me at That's So Debonair on the Twitter machine, Instagram, Blue Sky, all the places. Click the link in the bio.
Very cool. Mike?
There I am.
Mongrovian Mike.
Oh my
That's
God.
it.
Cool. And I am PW Front Row on across all the socials. We are Nation's Corner on X and The Nation's Corner on all other socials. Give us a like, subscribe, and follow and all that good stuff. Man, I hope everybody has a good weekend. We're heading into Christmas. It's going to be awesome. Lots of cool shit going on. Y'all enjoy your weekend. Later.
Later.